Hello and welcome back to the Kingdom Life Unfiltered. I'm Janine Marino and this is my beautiful friend Natalie Lawson. And today we are going to share with you a little bit about this vision that has been forming that the Lord has been giving us. And we want to tell you a little bit of the backstory, more about what is coming and share what is in it for you. What are we doing and how is it going to benefit more families that are kingdom minded. So, a little bit of backstory. Me and Natalie met back when we were part of a Christian personal and professional development company. And honestly, it was one of my favorite things that we've ever been a part of because it was literally like talk about Jesus and get paid for it and help people grow. And that is just really kind of like our jam. And it was something that like I've always thought about if we could just talk about Jesus and get paid, like that would just be the perfect job, right? I mean, obviously we don't like charge people to disciple them, right? So it's not about that, but really to be able to have everything that we do God-centered and everything that we do focused more on Him and to be able to help people in the process and all of that has just been something that has really fired us up. So one thing that when we were a part of this, we got certified as kingdom leadership coaches. And that was so much fun to be a part of, to see so many people have aha moments and learn more about their identity in Christ, learn to lead better and step into the calling that God has for them. I always thought back to that and thought, what if we could do that for kids? Could you imagine? I used to think, I wish I learned this back when I was a teenager. Could I just go backwards and learn it from that perspective? How much that would grow over the time. And I remember talking about it and being like, one day we should do something like that. And this was a long time ago. It was kind of one of those like in the far off land of one day. So I think that was kind of where it stemmed from. And then just all the different things that we've done over the time that we've been in the online business space and seeing what's out there, that really has kind of culminated into, but what if there was something like this? What if there was something that did that? I wish this was like that. And especially being in digital marketing, I remember when I was a part of that, we made $50,000 in like 4 months. It was great, but it wasn't residual. And so it was kind of this pressure of, but what about next month? And our heart has always been to help more families to find breakthrough in their finances. So I feel like I'm talking in circles, but it's just been all these little things that have pointed to like, all right, Lord, what are we supposed to do with this? So tell me a little bit from your perspective of what are the little things that have led us to this point, and then we can also share too a little bit more of what the vision is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. I think because we, especially being part of that community and getting to see, okay, like what something could look like having a Christ-centered or kingdom-centered community. And then both of us, like you're a mom of five, I knew I was like getting to start my motherhood journey. And then also being a teacher for so long. I felt like I always felt still called to lead, so the leadership coaching made sense to get certified and then teaching and then something with motherhood. But not knowing exactly what all that was going to look like and then seeing how you were with your kids and all the things you taught them, I thought, man, that would have been so awesome to know, like you said, know when I was young like that, or to have access to these resources. And then even just seeing like the buy-in of like your family unit and how you all really work together as one. And I thought, like, that's what I want for my family. So how could I get myself even connected with other families and start learning those things now versus when my kids are older and it might be or feel too late, like, so wanting to even lay that foundation. And so I think it's kind of started as we started brainstorming and talking about different things we both are passionate about, from the spiritual growth side to leadership to business, faith, kids, like really looking at, okay, what if we could, and we both love working together. So I think that made sense. We're like, what if we could do something together, but that would align all these values together. And also, I think that was the big thing too, is like we've both been a part of other affiliate marketing or different programs and things over the years, which have been great. But there was always something that kind of pulled us away from it because it would be out of alignment, or just something would not fit or sit right with us or maybe in that season. And so really starting to think now of like, okay, what if it could be something that could align with other people's values, be something that we could still serve and teach and lead and see that collaboration though within that and I know you get to experience a lot of like kingdom collaboration in the community that you're in locally. And for me, I've always found my community online. So it's kind of like bridging the gap to, I think the vision that we have is really kind of bridging the gap in both ways to be able to have the community online, but also even be able to long-term transfer that offline too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other piece is we had been a part of, a lot of different things that were in kind of the personal growth and professional development and learning the skills. And that's something I've always been really passionate about, even for my kids of, like we're raising entrepreneurs. Like I'm not raising kids to go to college unless it's something specific they want to do in that space, which is fine. I mean, I'm going to support them and help them to do that. But our goal is like, no, I would rather you work for yourself and have the freedom and have, the flexibility in your life to lean more into what God is calling you to. And then as I was looking at different digital marketing courses and stuff that I had access to, I was like, okay, why am I not having my team, Gavin, go through these? And so as I was having him go through some of them, I was thinking like, oh, this is great for homeschoolers. So I think I made one post telling people like, this is such a great opportunity for homeschoolers. And then they changed the branding to be more boss babe. And I was like, okay, this is a little off. I'm not sure how I feel about this. And also realizing too, as I was watching some of the trainings and stuff with him, like, yeah, some of it was good information, but I'm like, this is not rooted in Christ. It's really not something that I felt like I could recommend to other believers, but also even other homeschoolers, depending on what it was, because, sometimes there was some language or, something that I was just not feeling was super aligned with the way we want to raise our kids and the way we want to live our life too. And so then it got me thinking, like, what if we could just create our own? Is there something out there that is more aligned with our beliefs? And when I started looking, there really isn't. And then on top of that, we were in a season of building and creating resources for faith-driven moms that wanted to build an income online. And we started creating courses and different guides and stuff. And we were praying about it. We're like, I just feel like there's this missing piece. So do you want to talk through that? When we were looking at all of that, praying over it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think she and I went around and around, like really, because nothing for Jenny and I, anything that we've done, right? Like she said, she made $50,000 in 4 months. You would think somebody kind of walking away from that seems crazy, right? But nothing we do, yes, the money and the income is great. And yes, that is a goal and a vision to create legacy and and create wealth for our families. But it always is a question of, is this in alignment, right, with our values? And does it move toward the life God has already been preparing us for, or God is like calling us into? And so I think that kept being a question of like, what is that thing and that legacy that if we were nothing else was remembered or something, like that's what I always think about. Like, okay, at the end of the day, what would I want my kids to even know about me or understand or learn? Or if I did create, if I was going to spend all this time and effort into building something, like, would it outlive me? Right? Would it be something that even if I wasn't a part of it or there anymore, I'm an old lady or whatever, I just keep thinking like, what could be the eternal impact, right? The kingdom impact, the shift that could be making, the transformation, and helping, like she said, helping families be able to create income is definitely a huge part of that, but also having something where it's like, man, we're helping shape, I think, kids' lives, helping teach them skills that are going to help them for their future. That was one of my favorite things I loved about teaching was like character building, helping them. I was like, if they can survive like life outside of the classroom, like that's what I want. And so I think we feel that way too about like being moms, is like what is going to shape our kids for the future and help them also stay on track with their beliefs. But then also, I think the last program that you and I were a part of, it was for women primarily, which was awesome. But we found ourselves growing and doing all this internal work and spiritual growth and learning all these business skills. And we kind of, I don't know about you, but sometimes I kind of felt a little separated from my husband in that way, or felt like, okay, I'm moving this direction, but these people aren't. And so I was like, okay, well, what if you could kind of get the family unit kind of moving at the same pace, or all being having access to similar, information, and then able to use that in what's going to make sense for them and their season they're in, the age that they are. And so I think that those are a lot of conversations we were having. And then just praying over that, I was like, okay, well, we have this idea, we have this, we have
Yeah.
so many things. The vision is huge. So how do we narrow that down and have it be where we start so that it is going to be helping people with where they are right now and the people that we're connected to and the women, and also looking at, okay, how we build that out over time. I think those were a lot of questions and things we prayed over to get to where we were, and knowing that leadership, discipleship, I mentioned legacy, the impact, and helping people be able to be a part of that. And then having something where they could create a residual income, because that was always huge for our family. Having more of a sustainable income is what has allowed us to quit our jobs and has given us more choice in our life. So I know those are all kind of questions, prayers, thoughts that we have been talking about that has kind of like led us to what we're going to be creating for you and for families, or I think it's going to be a global movement for sure.
Yeah, I know. And it's one of those things that when we were first praying about it, and it felt a little bigger than I was thinking. I was like, whoa, this is not a course, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I've maybe told you this. I was actually a little hesitant at first too, because I was apprehensive, because I was like, this feels like a lot of work. And I have an almost 2 year old. I'm pregnant with I'm like, do I want to do this? I've built programs and things before, and I had so much joy around it, but I remembered the work it took and the time, and I didn't have kids then. So it was much easier. But I was really praying even this morning and journaling, and I just kept being reminded of like, but what are you called to, and how are you obedient to that? And knowing that like you're not doing it alone. I'm so grateful God has connected us, but it's doing it with in partnership with the Lord, and realizing that we don't have to do the whole thing at once. Like if I think of Joshua, he still had to fight the whole time, like to conquer the promised land, right? But he did a little bit. It was like a little at a time. And then even David, right? Anytime they fought battles, he was like, okay, Lord, do we do this? Do you want me to go here? And he was like, yes, I am with you. And so then he would go. And then if God wasn't with them, right, they didn't do that. So that's really, I think, going to be the big part for us here, is always, making sure we're in partnership with the Lord and moving when he says move, even when it feels a little daunting, but also like, being mindful to, okay, this sounds great, but not right now type of thing.
Absolutely. And I think that's been the biggest thing that as I look back, and it's so funny because I look back at the things that we've done, over the years in the online space and in business, and the things we've learned and the things that didn't work out and the things that have, and what he's called us to walk away from. And I'm like, it all lines up. It's like I almost feel like he's been telling me, and gosh, I have goosebumps just saying this, like I've been preparing you. Like this is what you're meant to do. Like if this thing worked out, or if that thing worked out, would you have been seeking me for this? And I'm like, okay, all right.
Like, but I really wanted that to work.
I know. It's so crazy. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about like what is it and what is the vision that he's given us. And first we want you to know that this is very, very much spirit led. So this is kind of the vision that we have, but wherever he says move, like that's where we're going to move. And we also would love, love, love to hear feedback from you all to hear like what about this excites you, what if you have ideas. Like we want this to be a space where people can step into their calling, have a space where they can bounce ideas, where they can launch things, where they have a space to speak in front of a community and all of that. So really what we're looking at is this is a community. It's going to be kingdom leadership for families. So not just for moms, something that can be stewarded and used for the whole family. So a community, a legacy, courses, a membership. We're going to be doing a lot of different things in here, and we're really excited to start rolling some of it out. But our heart has always been to help more women, because that's who we work with, because we're women, to be able to create an income around your life, your family, putting God in the center of it. So one of the things that we decided when we were pulling this all together was that our mission and vision is really to help more faith-driven families pursue greater freedom, intentional living and stewardship so they can spend more time together and make lasting impact. And so instead of just creating these courses where we were going to help people and build them up, help them grow in their faith in business, and we thought, well, why wouldn't we make it an affiliate program? Why wouldn't we make it to where people can actually earn and have an additional stream of income? We are really big believers of the Proverbs 31 woman and being able to steward multiple streams of income. And so we're not saying, come in here and make this your only thing. We're saying, we know that you are called to the marketplace, called to do ministry and be in business, and not just as a woman, but as a family. And so that's the other piece too that is really huge in this is like our family, we are huge on helping our kids to do this as well. Like today, we're going to the farmer's market. My 11-year-old is gourmet, organic flavored popcorn. He's selling out just about every week. And I've got another one of my boys is doing candied cashews, and one of them learned how to make soap. And so we're teaching them branding and how to talk to people, and we're growing microgreens. And me and Natalie together, we have learned so many different things in the online space, not only branding and social media and building out website funnels and automation skills. And there's so many different things that you can learn, right? But really having a path that you and your family can take. And so that's kind of where it's going to start, is that path of what this kingdompreneur family path look like, and how do we take it one step at a time? Because sometimes it can feel, obviously overwhelming if you're looking at this big picture. And we know that there's so many different things and so many different places you can run off to learn stuff from, but is it really centered with God first?
Yeah, I think that is a big key, right? Is you're going to have a path that you can follow that's going to kind of help give you step by step. And then you're going to have support within the community as well. And so we're excited about just the collaboration that's going to be there and having us as mentors. We didn't mention this at the beginning, but just you're like, okay, well, who are these people that, like we said, we've learned a lot of things. We both have a combined probably 20 years plus of working online, being in the industry, and doing a lot of things that are, like we said, creating businesses, sometimes from scratch, sometimes affiliating with some. And Janine is amazing at like she mentioned, automations, funnels, like using a lot of things that are kind of current too, and can help with, she has clients of her own where she has helped them grow and scale their social medias. And so it's taking those things and skills that we have learned and helping you to do that with the mission that you feel called to, whether it's creating something of your own or a similar thing, like affiliating with something, and being able to even help with like any type of ministry work. And again, it's like where your kids can come in and learn too from like a kid's view lens. We're excited about that. And I think that's going to make this community really unique as well. And then staying focused around those pillars of, like she said, like faith, business, leadership, discipleship, growing like in your faith and doing life together. I think those are going to be things that you'll see that are fun and unique here. And then, yeah, having the opportunity, if you're loving what you're getting and what you're doing, and or you want that additional stream of income, like we're making that possible for you, because that was huge for us. I was like, well, if I partner with something, I want to know, okay, I'm investing into it, which is great. And I think investing in yourself is so important. But is there a way I can get my investment back beside, not just through knowledge, right? But through other ways and monetarily. And if it is, I was always excited about that because that was something that was going to help our family. And if I love something anyway, I always share. So we're excited that we're going to be able to make that a big part of what this community offers too. So that way it becomes something that you're basically enjoying without having to worry about the finances, and then having some come back to you, and you're learning skills along the way that then you can go and develop other things from there as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be residual. And let me preface this with, this is not network marketing. Not that we're knocking network marketing. That's one of our streams of income, something that we do love, but that's not what we're doing. But one of the things that was really big for us too is we wanted to be able to create it in a way that, you could come in, and first off, if you are in the homeschooling space, because we're going to have a lot built out for kids as well, you can even use, like, if you have a homeschool scholarship, if you're in Florida, you can use the PEP scholarship. So that is another thing that we're going to be building out over time as well. So just know that this is coming, and it's going to be incredible, and it's going to be a really an incredible way to build an additional stream of income because it's residual. And we're going to have it be a 50-50 split to where you can actually get your membership paid for with two people getting started. And then after that, you're just building up an income residually, which is great. And we're going to continue to add to this and bring in more people as well. And we're not opening it just yet. We wanted to kind of share a little bit of the vision, the story, the background of what this is, pre-launch stages. Will be coming soon. So down below, you'll find the link to get on our first to know list. So make sure you click on there. And also we would love to hear your feedback, what you would like to see in there. We really want to also take into consideration the families that are interested in being a part of this. We want to hear from you and what would be beneficial for you and your family, and what kind of things would you like to learn? So we're excited to roll this out. So make sure that you get on the first to know list below, and we'll be back soon with more. Thanks for joining us today.